All right, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Alrighty then. So Adulare, you already said you saw the videos. Exploding Dijin, did you see them?
I got to I got to skim them. I didn't get a chance to fully watch them yet.
They're good. It's how I found out that you can hear a loud ass noise in the background.
Yeah, no, I was enjoying. I just didn't have time to fully watch it yet.
Nah, you're good. That was just like what, like 30 minutes ago or something.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I want you to watch it. How come you aren't passing my 10 question essay?
I'm.
Exploding, you cut out there. You saying something?
Oh, I said the reason I'm failing is shockingly because I'm stupid. But hey,
Ah, I see. Shockwave. Good example. Good job. Gold, you there?
Yes.
All right. So, other than the things that got sent out, good to see you both again. Now, there are some things you should know going into round two. The video hasn't come out yet because I am slightly behind. The By this time the intro is barely out by the time you guys have already finished round one. So I still need to edit round one's things, but once those are posted, you'll understand. Either way, round two, a bit different. We're taking out a few difficulties. So now F and D difficulty are gone.
Mm.
Meaning you can only have average, above average, very above average, and practically a power.
I mean, my first one was the highest one. So
No, you got A. No one's gotten S yet.
oh, there's okay. Yeah, I got second highest. So I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Whenever you do a match like hide and seek or something, there's always a difficulty associated with it. So if you have hide and
Uh,
seek and it's an F difficulty, the people you're hiding from are blind.
oh,
If it's
okay.
hide and seek S difficulty, there's like 20 of them all with like binoculars and stuff.
Oh, I see. What was the rating on mine? The race.
You can check in the
It,
match history. I have it written down.
Oh, let me
I
check.
just memorized mine because I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna
Oh,
die.
D.
D ranking. So F and D are out now. And this
Mm.
does end up affecting. This cost Exploding Dijin his objective victory, if I remember.
Objective.
Yeah, because
I had. I'm sorry.
yes, but remember how in your last match you ended up
Yeah,
losing the objective, but you won the combat.
it was a pretty close objective
Oh, it
though.
was still really close, yeah, but the difficulty
Oh,
also plays a good part in it when it comes down to it. So, F and D difficulties gone.
so that's why I wasn't too worried about difficulty since I barely lost.
It
It was.
does sometimes when you have difficulties, depending on who you're with, it won't matter at all compared to it might matter a lot.
Yeah.
There are varying fights when it'll happen. Some might just have the difference. Either way, let us get started with the first match of round two: Adulare versus Exploding Dijin. Gold, you ready to commentate?
Yes, I am ready.
All right, we're ready. So, even though you guys have already explained your powers, you're gonna have to keep explaining them to each new contestant. I'm gonna
All
move my
right.
mic. I'm gonna move my mic real quick. Yeah. All right. So, Adulare, why don't you take us away? Go ahead and explain your power to Dijin.
My powers, I can create an illusionary crystal, pretty much. The
Ooh.
size, shape is all limited to a maximum volume that I can create the crystal in, so I can make obscure shapes and all that, make it bend around. Uh, oh, cool.
Oh,
Spectator. Uh,
Cobra. Sorry, keep going on.
yeah, yeah. It's just an illusionary crystal. It only refracts light. You could, I mean, technically walk through it. It doesn't have any physical mass. If you touch it the crystal will rapidly grow around you and turn whatever it grows on into also an illusion, so practically making it useless as only light can refract off of it. I can change how much the crystal grows on you. I have a maximum of about half a person's volume, but the minimum doesn't really have a limit because, well,
like kind of technically there is a limit because like you can't go.
well, I'd assume there is a limit, but nothing I'd ever use it for.
No, like you can't go atom sized, but like maybe like I don't know, half a centimeter or something.
Aha! Your one atom is now an illusion. How will you plan to defeat me?
You'll bleed out very, very slowly. Maybe. So, yeah, it's a good one. Gonna interject a bit
My
here.
power.
Gonna interject a bit here. Hey, Cobra, nice to see you. You spectating the match?
He's muted.
I'm gonna take your silence as a yes, as spectators should be. All right, exploding. Go ahead and explain yours.
I am immune to all soul damage or spirit damage, and I also send out the explosives that are a living being as well. So I shoot explosives that can decide to turn and move as they will.
Mm-hmm. Now, to clarify...
Does that...
No, Adulare, you do not affect the spirit.
No, yeah, I was about to ask that, and also, is it what you shoot out? Is it a projectile that homes and then explodes, or is it just a constantly exploding mass that moves towards you?
It's a projectile that moves and then explodes on contact.
Okay.
But it's pretty quick. It's like a beam, so it's just think of it like that.
Okay, but that technically you could call it a limiter, as it explodes on contact?
Yeah. But I can shoot as many as I need to.
Yeah.
You, both of you can only have one thing at a time. Adulare can only have one crystal out at a time. Dijin, you can only shoot one at a time.
Okay.
And now that it's the match after yours, I can clarify it a bit better. Pretty much, Dijin's explosives work like the Hulk. When he shoots it, it can just decide to just bank left if it wants to. Even though it's supposed to go in a straight line, it can just decide to go no.
Okay.
But we're assuming he gets along with it, because then that'd just be BS. So his explosive can curve around defenses, making it kind of hard to dodge.
How strong are the explosives?
Don't think like Bakugo level of explosions, but still think like your normal movie, explosion. Superpower, boom.
So, like, I'd say medium firework level, like, it'll hurt if you get hit by it, but it's not an instant death.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to explain. It does more mental damage than it does physical damage.
Yes, if you take the
mental damage.
Yeah, if you take the explosion point blank to your head, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to go flying 20 feet backwards, but your head's going to be completely fine. But then, once the mental damage kicks in, you feel your brain fracture.
So it's more of a metaphysical.
Mm-hmm. All the physical damage.
That would explain the soul.
All of the physical damage gets transferred over to mental damage, and the whole soul thing. Those are two separate powers. He got lucky. Gold, you've been silent this whole time. Say something.
I am here. Yes.
Oh, yes.
I guess what's our objective? What are we?
I was about to
bout?
see. All right, Gold. What do you want to roll? Location, objective, or difficulty?
I'll do location this time.
All right, I'll do objective this time. So you go ahead and roll your location. 45. 1 out of 45. I'm doing 36. 23.
I got a 26.
26. Okay. Alright, let's see how that works out. And mine with my 23. Oh. Oh. Alright. We don't need to roll difficulty for this one. Doesn't apply to you guys.
Oh, cool.
Mm. Huh.
Because you got the worst possible one.
Is it a combat thing?
It's combat oriented.
Wait, is it what I think it is?
It is what you think it is.
Yes.
So here's something that happened. I made the list to give you all powers. I gave you the thing to make powers. This means that me and my close group of friends have made superheroes as well.
Oh, are we fighting other people?
They're not going to be brought in, but we've
Or like, as in just past powers that you have.
Yep, so, Adulare, Exploding Dijin, you've landed on an all-star match. Golden.
Woo!
Golden, give me a 1 through 20.
Okay, you got it.
We have some weak heroes, we have some strong heroes, but most of them are strong. And one of them you will die against. At that point, it's just combat against you two.
9.
9, let's see what we got.
How long do we have to survive?
Whoever can do the best against them, that's it.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So it's just,
like we
well,
could
if it's an
survive the
all-star match,
longest.
I'd just assume it's whoever can go the longest, yeah.
Whoever can, it's kind of based on, yeah, kind
If
of
we're fighting multiple enemies.
No, just one. It's a mix of durability and damage to your opponent.
Oh, so it's just basically a cage match, but we're not fighting against each other.
Yep. You're not allowed to mess with each other on this one.
Okay.
That actually is good for me.
Yeah.
I fall very short against projectile-based enemies.
All right, Golden, you're gonna love their enemy.
Oh.
The all-star hero you'll be fighting against is Golden's hero, his personal hero, meaning he knows a lot of tips and tricks of this hero. You guys are up in a fight against Lich King. Lich King's
I don't like the name.
Lich King's power. He raises the dead and can just summon them multiple times. When you shatter them, he'll just bring them right back at you.
Yes! Ha! Yes! That sounds like
he's
necromancy.
happy.
Worst, all-stars are allowed to keep gear on them, so be careful. Lich King does carry bone weaponry and bone armor on himself.
So can I just beat him, like, straight up?
We'll have to find out. Adulare, we'll let you go. Well, actually, Exploding Dijin will let you go first since you seem eager. Adulare, we'll let you go next after.
I'm immune to necromancy.
I'm okay with that.
I'm just straight up immune to necromancy.
Sadly, you are not the target of necromancy.
Oh.
If the
That makes sense.
Yeah, there are necromancy moves like reaping, which specifically hit your soul. And
Oh. I thought when you said that, I thought you were saying I was immune to all necromancy. I was like, haha.
no, it was like to give an example.
I was like,
I would think it probably wouldn't affect, like, if you raised up a skeleton and the skeleton tried to hit you. That's more of a physical attack, not...
it's on you. I'm immune to your physical attacks. But
That'd be really funny if you were to die and then just can't get resurrected because you're immune to it.
damn it.
Oh yeah, that would be a thing. So, actually, hold up, Dijin, to give you a little better layout of what you can do and what you can think of. Golden, explain the play-by-play of how Lich King normally goes.
Lich King normally goes on defense. He will summon about 4 or 5-ish. That's his limit, if I remember. He on defense, he'll go behind them and have them basically take all the blunt force. While on attack, he'll basically swarm you with them while going in with his bone sword.
All right.
This does also watch out because on attack, his amount of skeletons increased due to recklessness fighting, and it goes from 5 to 10.
All right. So my first attack, I want to bless 2, like 1, 2, right in front of the skeletons. I don't want to hit him. I just want to disorient hit. I just want to disorient the whole crew. And then I want to blast to go over and go straight for the king.
Alright, so your whole plan is pretty much just light them all up, hit them one after the other.
Actually, I want to distract him and go straight for the one in the middle. I don't want to take out the weaklings. I kind of want them to see how they'll react.
This do be careful. All stars do while we do assume you guys have average strength, intelligence, and speed. All stars are above you in this factor, so be careful.
Okay.
Do you mind if I ask some questions about
Yes.
Lich King? First, am I right to assume that the amount he has summons splits the power of them? Like, if he has 10 skeletons, they'll be weaker than if he had, like, 2?
No.
Or are they all around the same strength?
All same strength.
All
How
right.
strong
Then
are
another one that more is me speculating. How are the skeleton? Does he have full control over them, or do they have their own free will of sorts?
Hey Gold, wasn't it like both?
A little bit.
He can kind of have them on autopilot, and controlling them manually doesn't really take much from him either.
How
Okay.
are they? Like, are they
Um,
human strength? Like superhuman?
Because I was just thinking to myself, if these are complete drone type like summons, then if they couldn't think for themselves, wouldn't the explosions have no effect because they can't take like metaphysical damage to their mind because they're not thinking?
The skeletons cannot take mental damage, but they can still take the force from the explosion.
Also, I wasn't shooting them. I was shooting the ground in front of them, so it'd still knock them back, and they'd still.
Yeah, I was just more asking if the or the mental damage could happen.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Because if you could, I mean, I was just thinking if you could hit them mentally, you could technically, depending on how well they could be controlled, make them fight each other.
Would that mental damage go to him?
No.
As the summons?
And Golden, what's the toughest feat you remember these skeletons surviving against the others?
The biggest that especially relating to exploding Dijin, he went up against a guy who had like exploding clones that were able to think for themselves. And the skeletons could survive like one explosion from them.
Excuse me, what superhero name was that again?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna believe you.
Off the top of my head, hearing that, if it's imagining just like an average male like body or volume worth of an explosion, that the skeletons could survive one of that sounds pretty durable.
These were very durable. The comparison I was gonna pull is a different hero who fought with fire. Fire is the main thing. Blunt force was how the skeletons were beaten, because explosive, yeah, that does hurt, which is what he used. They tanked one and kept going. Blunt force, which he was also able to command earth, he just smashes them and they're gone.
I don't know if this happened for everyone else, but you kind of cut out.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he as soon as you said fire, you
My bad, my internet cuts out a lot and it dies on me.
So, physical damage is blunt force is what they're weak against, pretty much.
Yeah, blunt force, like earth, smashing them, done. Explosive, they can tank one, because they have gone against explosive before. So, now that you guys got a bit of information... Oh wait, two more bits of information. One, the weapons hurt. So those are a factor you gotta watch out for. And his defense. Bone armor. The reason it's bone, he can command it to block shots for him.
Can I also ask if he has a limit to the amount of, like, the summons in terms of, like, can he decast them or send them away?
Yes.
Okay, because I was about to say, if you, like, blew off their legs and made them virtually useless and just kept them all like that so he couldn't summon more without killing them, could you effectively make him useless?
Pretty much, yeah. He'll still have his weapons.
But he couldn't summon more skeletons?
Kinda. You gotta, like, really, really destroy the skeletons. He controls them. He doesn't really...
Well, I mean, if you, like... I'm just saying in terms of, like, his ability, if you were to blow off their, like, legs or arms while keeping them alive, it'd be pretty easy to move around from them, especially if they're crawling on their arms.
I see what you're saying, yes. If you do that, he'll just reassemble it.
Oh, okay.
To completely get rid of the skeleton, you need to really, like, destroy it or make them inaccessible somehow.
My Hulk blast negate the magic of his armor, the power of his armor?
No, this is only for yourself, mainly a defense.
Okay.
All right.
Does
all the information's been put. Oh, sorry, go on.
Does he have any other attacks besides the skeletons?
Nope.
That I'll have to worry about besides our weapons? Okay.
Nope. All
I
right.
will also just bit of fair warning on my end. I'm currently in a tropical storm, so I apologize if power goes out. I will try to keep you posted, but I hope nothing should happen, but just in case.
Okay.
Well, let's hope we don't die. So, and with that starting, let's get right into it. Exploding Dijin, you seem like the most eager. We'll let you go first. Adulare, we'll let you keep going.
All right. So I would like to blast right in front of the group. I just want to push back a little and make sure like they don't make them think twice about attacking, and then I want to send an attack over the above everyone's heads while I'm doing that, like 1, 2, and then another attack.
All right. So your plan is light
See
them
how
up.
he reacts.
Your plan is light them up, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Remember, this isn't like you. It's not like I'll do this. Okay, then I do this. Then I do this. We're trying to see who would win out of like 100 matches more times than not. Who has the best probability of winning each time? Because some might have
Yeah.
a real good move, but it might be real risky to do. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
plays off. So good over explosions, getting rid of the skeletons and can hit them. Gold. You got any say on that?
Yeah, the skeletons would do good damage against the other skeletons, daze them a little bit.
Good and against Lich King.
As you said before, I am able to control my armor, so the armor would block the overhead shot. I would still take some damage because it is an explosion, so I would take mental damage, but not as much as I would.
Okay. So if I just berate him from there, how would I do?
You'd still do some moderate damage. All stars don't expect to kill, but it's mainly just who can do the best against them. So you can take care of the skeletons pretty well. You can take care of the. You can take care of him pretty much.
The skeletons. I want to keep attacking. I just want to keep attacking, like full force attack.
Full force attack. Adulare, how would you go about this?
What would you say your reaction time is?
The reaction time is above average. Is not like above average, but higher than whatever the heroes are at.
Even for being a lich. I guess my best bet would be to try and... What area are we in?
Oh my!
Are we in like an arena?
Jeez, I completely forgot the arena.
I forgot. Oh, we were just in a cage.
Yeah, I guess you said cage, and I just assumed, oh yeah, we're in a cage.
Yeah, I was just thinking like a wrestling arena or like a Pantheon arena.
My bad. The arena that was rolled, let me double check, it was mountainous. You're in a mountainous range. How are you going to fight with the mountains?
Okay, I want to change my answer.
Oh no. Oh. Exploding vision, I feel like it's like a huge advantage.
I want to take out whatever's above, like, whatever the slope is above them.
Landslides.
Cause like a landslide?
I want to fucking landslide everything. I wanted to take out everyone.
Take yourself out in the process, but I mean, yeah.
I will win. I will make sure you're all dead, even if I'm one of them.
All right, Exploding Dijin's got landslide. Adulare, what do you got?
I'd say my best bet would be to do what I did like in the last match with the race, is create a discus-shaped crystal covering as much ground as I can. Or I guess not even discus-shaped, more just forming a crystal outside towards his group of skeletons and himself.
Okay. But my full answer would be still the distraction shots, like to keep them at bay, so they're not like full. They don't come attack me immediately, and then go landslide.
All right, that makes good sense. Adulare, Lich King is kind of a problematic match for you. Remember, you can only affect one person at a time, and Lich King is Swarm.
Yeah, I mean, can't I only affect him?
Yeah, but if a skeleton touches it first...
I guess. I mean, how hard/easy could it be to just create a crystal to arc around, either from the air to hit him?
From the air, easy to see. from the ground, not easy to see, and you would hit, but you got to find a way past the
Ground,
skeletons.
like ground as well, because I mean, technically, my crystals can go through the ground since they're only light. But
I don't think light can go through ground.
well, I mean, you wouldn't see the crystal until it came back up from the ground. But
I mean, light particles can't really move through solid particles, though.
I guess yeah.
The mountainous terrain might be able to play into your advantage somehow, because it is rock. If you can find a way to somehow use rock with rock, I don't know how that would work. So, that. Hold up. Now that I didn't look at the thing, let me see what else there is. Okay. Okay, I forgot only one more thing. Only one more thing. I lied. You can affect each other.
Okay. Well,
So, hold up. Hold up. We heard your attempts and stuff. Golden, any commentary on that?
They're both really good attempts. I feel like the land really does play into their favor, especially with exploding Dijin.
I just shoot everyone, and then I just go for the landslide. There you go.
I mean, I'd say my best bet would to be immediately focus exploding Dijin with a crystal.
But my attack is going to be faster, I believe.
Well, if you're aiming at the landslides, you're not going to be.
I'm going to go for the people first. I'm going to make sure y'all are distracted, and then I'm going for the landslide.
Okay, hold up. So, Dijin, how would you go about interfering with Adulare?
I would just shoot straight at him.
Just simple. Just oh hey, look over there, dead.
Boom.
How could I survive a shot from him while
Yes.
making sure the crystal hit? Because
Yes, there's no.
it's
instant
more of a
kill.
trade, I'd assume.
Yes, there's no instant kill moves. Even if it is just like super mega death spear, you're not gonna get killed in one shot. You can still tank a lot of them. Vital shots take a lot more.
Well, I'm assuming he'd get hit by my crystal, though, right?
Okay.
Even if I took damage, if he got hit by my crystal, couldn't I effectively make the top half of his body useless, or mainly just his head, causing him to not be able to think or do anything, leaving his body on the ground while I could run away?
Well, he can still think. He's still there.
My power.
Well, if his head is made of light, how could you send signals through the rest of your body to move your body?
His legs are still there, and it's not really gonna do much. And
Well, he also can't see or hear.
Yes, he cannot. Yes, he cannot see or hear. However, when it comes down to the brain and heart, if that was the case, that would be an instant kill move, which is not allowed.
Oh, true. Yeah. I guess, I mean, I can just leave him blind and deaf and just run away and eventually
my
the skeletons
power.
will get him.
However,
I mean, good thing my powers are work on their own. So
yes, exploding. Remember, exploding Dijin has like a Hulk thing. They can also fire themselves without his purpose. Think of
that
Bruce
would
Banner
go
in the
berserk
Hulk.
and just take everything
Think
out.
of what?
Think of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. The Hulk can come out when he wants, and when he's out, he can do whatever he wants. Exploding Dijin can make the explosions come out, but when they're out, they can do whatever they want, and they can also come out on their own whenever they want. And
Oh, and they have a mind of their own?
5 points. The 5 points of contact: hands, feet, and mouth. Those are where the basic powers can be shot out from. As long as you have one of those 5, you can shoot.
So basically, it would just continue with my plan, which was landslide everything.
While his Hulk doesn't think as smart as he does, it still does carry out actions. So yes. So
Then
exploding
I guess
Dijin.
I don't know if I would do that then, aim my crystal at him.
Well, it's not a matter of if you would do that. It's a matter of like if it benefits your chances.
Well, that's what I mean, is I could rather do something else than try to take him down and let the skeletons deal with him first so I'd win, but...
Okay, so exploding Dijin.
Skeletons aren't going to be able to hit me because of my explosives.
So exploding Dijin, your things are just smack him up. Adulare, your things are crystallize him, but you're thinking about a different one. Excuse me. While you're thinking of a different one, Golden, input.
I don't have one really.
Well, like, something. No.
Both have a really good way to like mess around with everyone. Exploding Dijin, I feel like, has a better way to mess around with the other person, because whenever you get hit by his explosion, you're like dazed, and that is extremely dangerous when you're on a mountain.
There is also something I did forget that I did forget, and like I just remembered right now. Explode. Well, like I didn't forget it, but like I thought of it. Exploding Dijin is explosions still carry their force. If you're on a mountain,
Yes.
going flying back on a mountain is not exactly a safe thing. So we've got that. Things aren't looking too great here, Adulare. So we got one more thing to throw out. How can you how can you counter your opponent's interference? We'll start with exploding again.
His landslide.
Well, his explosions, his landslide, and stuff.
I mean, I've already said how I can counter his disc, because my power will still carry out my act will.
That's a good one. Is there any? All right, if that's it for you, Dijin, we'll move to Adulare.
So he's gonna shoot the. He's just gonna try and create a landslide.
And shoot you.
Oh, and shoot me.
I'm shooting you, then the skeletons to make sure they back up, and so no one's coming straight at me for a quick blitz. And then I'm going for the landslide. That's my full strategy.
What could I do?
While you're thinking, Golden, how do you think Lich King could fare against a landslide? How well could he block it?
Blocking in a sense, I think he just get like rapidly just thrown off by the landslide. Although, since he does control the bones, I don't know if this is far fetched, but couldn't he use like one skeleton or even the bones he has on him to launch himself over the landslide?
No,
Sure.
it don't work.
Okay,
He never worked like that.
then that means I take the landslide full head first.
The one thing that I do remember, is the cool part about that armor is you were able to stand your ground a lot more. You just braced it with all the bones on it.
But you did say his bones did take damage from crushing, and
Yes.
so
Landslides
So,
are still going to crush a good amount of bones.
So what I think happens is that after the landslide, the armor doesn't prove as much usefulness as it did before. If anything, it would probably be rendered useless.
So I can just go on full attack after that then.
It'd be harder to block your shots with Lich King without the armor.
So, Adulare, what do you got now?
Hypothetically, is there anything you could get for beating the Lich King? Like it, or if you were to able to defeat him rather than just eventually die to him, is there any merit to that, or is it supposed to be just outlast your opponent?
Whoever can do the best. It's kind of a mix between damage and durability.
So that throws out the suggestion of trying to work together to instantly beat him and then fare off against each other without him in the way.
I mean,
if it's more of a durability match or durability in combat match to beat him rather than
Is that all you have, Adulare?
I'm still trying to think because I need to find a way to. I'm assuming it's probably been too late or too far gone that I'm just gonna have to tank the shot he shot at me or try my best to dodge it with however much reaction time I have.
You could dodge it. You will be hit a little bit by it.
Okay. And then where, if there's like any rhyme or reason to our positioning, where would I be in location compared to the landslide? Because I'd be assuming he'd be aiming most of his shots to create a landslide at the Lich King, and I'd be assuming I'm not right next to him.
Yeah, so you can't cause a landslide just 2 feet away from him. He'd have to aim very high up. And remember, he can only have one explosion out at a time. It takes a long time for the thing to go from there to there, point A to point B.
So how fast are my explosions?
again, fairly fast. We kind of assumed like Harry Potter beam, Iron Man beam, similar speeds, kind of ish.
So I could get a few shots off like before someone could make that distance.
Yeah, like
Like
Well, if you're shooting the landscape, the time it would take for the projectile to get to the landscape would leave enough room for one like an attack of some sort.
hmm you'd still make it good enough, but in a fight against heroes, whenever it takes that long, it gives them extra time.
well, that's also why I shot at like that's why I shot towards him at first, so I could make sure I would cut off that blitz.
Remember, we assume equal reaction time and equal everything. For every attack you get off, he gets off, unless it's a stun or something.
Yeah.
Meaning,
So I mean,
you'll hit him, and then Adulare will hit you back.
oh no, I mean I was shooting at the skeletons as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
Take a lot to try and do at once if you can only have one projectile at a time.
but I mean they go pretty decently fast. I
Mhm.
mean, especially if they're close. We're close quarters right now. Like decent quarters. Like if I'm hitting the landslide, that'll leave me open. But
Wait, are they physical at all? The explosions or the projectile before they explode?
yeah,
Um,
it's
Yeah.
So
wait.
what if I threw out an idea at you're still? I'd assume you try and shoot me first, right?
Well, whenever he shoots or
Honestly,
something, what's your idea?
I don't really feel like I need to. I can just attack straight for the Lich King. I feel like that's my best bet at this point. I mean, I feel like I'm wasting time because he's not going to do as much. He's not going to do much damage either way. So I think I'm just going to go straight for the Lich King now.
Oh, he'll still do a lot of damage, but Adulare, go on.
All right. So if he's focusing the Lich King, then I'd assume you're gonna do the landslide at the Lich King.
Well,
Yeah.
remember, it's not a move thing. It's just one of the things he can do. So, what do you think?
Well, depend like did he create a landslide or not? I guess.
It would create a landslide, yes.
And the Lich King had hurt armor, and I'd also assume all the skeletons also got destroyed in that.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna send pretty much a focused crystal at the Lich King himself.
Don't you have a touching range though?
Well, I mean, can't I? It's a certain volume. If I were to create pretty much a very thin tube, it only needs to touch him.
That works. Oh,
I mean, it would be slower than like the bomb. It would take time to grow, but not too long. I'd hope.
hey Golden, correct me if I'm wrong. We say Lich King controls the skeletons, right?
Yes.
There's
And
also his armor. Wait,
they have an autopilot just by him just doing it in the back of his mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
The skeletons are not alive, right?
Yes.
Ad-
Why ask?
Adulare can only turn living things to illusions.
Oh, so I don't even need to worry about the skeletons.
No, his gems, even though the skeletons are stepping on it, it won't work because they are not alive right now. They are not.
Does that mean I also get to buy? Does that mean I get to bypass his armor as well?
Well, yeah, if it hits him, it's gonna work. Yeah. He can't block stuff like that.
Ooh.
Things got interesting.
Maybe I direct the landslide at Adulare too, so he can't do that.
I don't think you can control that. I think it's hitting everyone.
Which, shoot. I also use I trigger the landslide and use my explosives to keep myself safe. There we go.
Remember, they don't have actual explosive power. It's mainly the force. Against a
I
landslide,
thought they do have a little bit of force.
yeah, they have the force.
Don't you
Against
dare tell me this man's about to start rocket jumping.
He's not immune to his own explosions. He will hurt himself if he does that.
But I can at least push like rock flying at me away, right?
Yeah, you can definitely send some away, but against a landslide that you need to take down a bunch of people and all that stuff, you're still going to get hit. A good amount. You maybe went from 100% to 80%.
Okay.
Percent of what?
Damage.
Uh-oh.
All right, Golden, give us some input because so far, Dijin doing good job with explosions. Landslide definitely helps out. We've been focusing a lot on Dijin. Let's focus a bit on Adulare. So, how do you think that illusion thing will play out against Lich King?
He
I mean, if he's busy, because I don't even need to. I mean, I was originally just gonna say if all the skeletons died or got incredibly covered by a landslide, I wouldn't have to worry about them either way. But I mean, now it doesn't matter if I can't affect them. I depends on would he be able to dodge the crystal, or how far away I am. Could I just try and move in for close quarters to make it less of a chance?
Normally,
Can I let him? Can I let the king take out him first? Because he can't.
we're assuming it's kind of like a one-on-one match with the guy just messing with you, but also trying at the same time. It's kind of like there's two of them, two Lich Kings, with like one on each of you. How well can you each go against?
It's more we're in an arena with like both of us. Yeah, it's more we're both in the same arena with the Lich King, but our objective is more fighting the Lich King than fighting each other.
Yeah. So for clarification, assume like two Lich Kings, but they have the power of like one, if that makes any sense.
You should only ever worry about one Lich
If he
King.
does damage to a Lich King, I can't just come in and swoop it for the victory.
No.
Yeah, I got you.
It's how well you guys can do against it by yourself, how well you can dodge it by yourself, how well you can go against them by yourself, and how well you can deal with your opponents messing around.
Also, could I just aim at their feet and have them slip down the mountain?
Yeah, you have a lot of force though to send them off the mountain.
Yeah. I also wanted. That's also my backup strategy.
I was gonna say, yeah, what like in terms of because we were able to have a rock slide happen. How steep are we on a mountain, if steep at all, or were we in like a valley that a rock slide could go into?
Like a steep mountain. When we say mountain range, we mean steep, not like vertical, but
so like a
yeah,
cliff
steep.
face is pretty much what we're creeping on.
Yeah.
Also, there's probably boulders. Another strategy I could do is send the boulders towards the skeletons.
If that's that would
Use
work
like explosives
better for
too.
me.
I think that's still like landslide. Still within the same category and stuff. Hold up. Gold.
I mean, just single boulders at a time. Like, I mean, if that starts a landslide, that works in my favor still. But
I see what you're saying. Gold. What do you
adding.
have? Hold up, I'm at Gold. What do you think?
Yes.
How well do you think? Because again, we've been focusing a lot on Dijin. I wanted to move focus to Adulare, but then we thought about something again. How well do you think the whole half crystal thing illusion works against Lich King?
Half crystal? What?
Whenever Adulare's crystal hits you, he turns half of your body to an illusion.
Oh.
And
Yes, I remember that.
how well do you think that works? Because before he used it on his own ears to make himself deaf.
Mm-hmm.
But he can only be affecting one person at a time. So, how well do you think that would fare against Lich King?
If it can, like, as we clarified, it bypasses all the skeletons in my armor. It's gonna be extremely hard for Lich King to dodge the crystal.
Mainly because it's a mountainous terrain and it's a gem, it blends in.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like blend in, but like it's definitely less obvious than going through grass.
Yes.
All right, and versus the landslide, we already talked about that. Versus the force, we already talked about that. I think we've talked about everything, haven't we?
I have three strategies I could implement that would be very effective so far.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna give one last go around. Any questions that you want before we take off? Exploding Dijin, any last things you want to throw out there?
Adulare, do you have anything?
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking is if we're saying that he can't defend with his armor or skeletons, then it's pretty much a confirmed I get to hit my crystals.
And how would
My
that
best
affect
bet, since we're on a cliff face and I can like maximum being half his body, but I can kind of cherry pick the areas that get affected, right?
Kind of. They kind of got to be connected. You have to go.
Yeah, that's I can't do like your hands and your feet or anything, but it's more like I can choose the specific or a more generalized area that
Yes.
gets affected.
Yes.
Could I theoretically then take out like pretty much most of his legs, but leave some there to make him slip and fall off the mountain?
No, he'd still be on the mountain.
So it's not that sheer of a cliff face.
No, he's still there. You can still stand on it. You can still fight on it.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
still
it assumes,
enough.
hence from his ability, even if I took out like his, say like arms and legs or whatever is connected like that, it doesn't really stop him from being able to summon or control skeletons.
He needs his head.
Oh, well, we've already talked that I can't really do that because it doesn't.
No, you can. It just doesn't kill him. He's still there.
Oh, but it could stop his ability if I took out his head.
Hasn't this happened before, Golden? Because, like, yeah, you're still there. You can still think. You can't do...
It's more, I guess, in this specific scenario, you could imagine it more as like a stasis effect. Nothing is happening to him, but he also can't like send out signals or anything.
Mhm.
I think the similar problem Lich King fought up against was paralysis.
Oh, yeah, he got perma-stunned against someone and couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess that would be a pretty much a similar effect that the crystal would have, right? Because then I just focus for his head.
Yeah, he'll still have his arms and legs and still be able to fight you, but he lost his skeleton, so yes.
But,
So,
what if the skeletons get to him before the crystal hits him?
Assuming they each get one shot off, the skeletons are all melee, not ranged. So, Adulare would be able to get a shot off before Lich King. That was Lich King's downfall. He wasn't a ranged fighter, he's a melee fighter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming we'd also be taking the landslide into effect with, that would be slowing the skeletons down.
Mm-hmm,
Which
but you would also be
normally,
caught too.
whenever...
I mean,
Normally,
Yeah, I'd take damage from it, but I wouldn't really take as much damage from skeletons while I was aiming my crystal at him.
Okay, wait, hold up. Adulare, yes, you would still take damage from it, and the skeletons wouldn't be up anyway because you would disable them. Golden, you were saying?
I don't know if I said this or not, but if I remember, wouldn't Lich King blitz with the skeletons?
Yeah, he never just stood back. He always fought in the lines.
Which means he is more he is able to be hit more.
Mm-hmm. There is still like 10 skeletons, which is hard. Exploding Dijin does do a good job of taking care of that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with his mini Fusro Da.
yeah.
Alright, so you two
So
have...
I guess it would turn out to be me taking the brunt force pretty much of the landslide, disabling him from summoning more skeletons, and how well I can brawl out against the remaining skeletons or what's left and then finish him off.
Alright. Both of you have said your
Versus...
Hold up.
Yeah.
Both of you have said your final words.
Yeah.
Golden?
I have my 3 strategies.
Golden,
Yes.
any final words?
Both of these heroes do extremely well against Lich King, I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Lich King's at a disadvantage at both the terrain and the fight.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the fact of one is a disable, one is a damage. So we'll have to calculate the weight of that over there. Alright. Let's move on over. Might be a bit noisy because my mic is right next to the mouse. Alright, hold up. I should probably go over there to tell him to stay.
I mean,
Make sure you guys stay. Make sure you guys stay. Someone left last
we're
time.
staying.
Yeah, someone left
Oh.
last time, and it took a while to get him back.
Yeah, I know the drill.
Okay,
Yeah.
going back up. All right. All right. So, what do you think?
I think Lich King in both fights will lose.
Well, we are assuming like you have to like hard counter the hero to beat them, because these are all stars. We do raise their stats a bunch and their power and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning,
But Exploding Dijin has a really good thing going with him. Able to counter all of his skeletons, able to basically bypass the armor with his mental damage, plus the force landslide. Exploding Dijin has a lot of stuff going for him. Not to mention Adulare, right? That's how you say his name.
Yep.
Adulare also has basically a one-hit KO. Not basically, because I can still use my sword, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's all I have going for me. So if he hits me once, it's just a one-on-one fight, and Lich King loses his biggest aspect.
My roommate is screaming like a monkey. But you're right. He does lose his one-on-one ability, especially since when Adulare hits him and takes out his head, he loses his sight and hearing.
Mm-hmm. Meaning you can't really fight on a mountain with only like feel and taste.
Even though we do assume that they do have heightened abilities and heightened everything, sight and smell too.
See, like I'd say that like he'd be able to do it if he had like hearing or something, but he took out all three major things in a fight.
Oh wait,
He left me.
taste. He took out taste too. All you
Why
have is
would he-
feel.
He took out. How do you take out taste?
Your tongue is right there.
I, I guess that's why your head's a lot important.
Yes.
If you manage to take that out, you take out 4 senses
Yes.
out of the 5.
Smell, sight, hearing, and taste. 4 senses.
I mean, if anything, if Lich King ever came down to it, he would just be like,
I can see, I know you're talking about like every
really
time
anything else.
you cut out for a bit, but every time my roommate shouts, I can see the audio just shoot up. It's like all quiet and then meow.
So did you hear what I said?
Kind of a little bit. It was after I said the 4 senses that you cut out.
Whenever he lost all 4 of his senses and like is practically rendered useless, I think the thing that he would do is just Juggernaut spin constantly.
But
'Cause
not
he
very
can't really do
effective, is
anything
it?
else. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, if you just plop someone on the streets with only feel, how's he gonna do?
Okay, wait, so hold up. We're talking a lot about this. So, definitely Lich King is disabled, for sure, against Adulare. And
Yes.
against Exploding Dijin, those landslides and those things are going to yeet him off everything. Both have, like, equal damage and disable against the hero.
Yes.
It mainly comes down to durability. And neither really is going to take hits from Lich King. Because Exploding Dijin is
Yes.
splash damage, and Adulare destroyed the skeletons.
If anything, I can throw the sword. That's something I can do.
Yeah, with just feel, you're not going to hit anything.
Yeah.
And
With Exploding Dijin, I might hit something, but I think he'll just go and just knock the sword away.
Yep. And so, this really comes down to how well they can survive the interference with each other.
Oh, wait, no. I think Exploding Dijin loses the durability.
Why would you say so? Oh, he gets hit in his own landslide.
Yeah, the one thing he does to completely counter me ends up hurting himself. Not a lot, only 20% like you said, but that's still something compared to Adulare's 0. Oh, other than the explosion he tanks from Exploding Dijin, which I don't know how much damage that does, but it does something.
Oh, this is I don't know who to give winner. I thought it was Exploding Dijin, and I was like ready, like, Adulare, say what you're gonna say. It's not gonna work. And then
Really? I thought Adulare was gonna win this, like in the bag.
no, I thought Adulare was just gonna like get steamrolled. Like, just say it. It's not gonna matter. Go on. And then like, oh wait, this is tough. Okay, so they both can take out the person very well. Adulare can just dodge around them while he's useless, which effectively takes him out of the game. That's a huge disable. Exploding Dijin damages him, can throw him off the mountain. Not completely, but like, he'll be thrown about in the rocks. hit him with the landslide, and even if it does damage him, he just won't do it then.
Yes.
Adulare can't affect Exploding Dijin.
Armor, but that's not really a big it still helps, but
Exploding Dijin, Adulare really can't mess with Exploding Dijin. He can only affect one person at a time. Meaning Exploding Dijin will mess around with Adulare a lot.
Yes, which is like, just sending like a couple explosions his way.
Not to mention, even if he does disable him, Dijin can still fight. His powers...
And not to mention, Exploding Dijin, Adulare can't really do anything about the incoming explosions. It's like, if its power worked on the projectiles, then he would be able to combat this by like making like little like crystal shields.
If he could have multiple at once, he would win this.
Yes.
But I think because he can only take care of one or the other while Dijin can do both, I think I'm going to give this to Dijin.
Well, not to mention, you also have to think. Dijin can do a pretty good job, but if Adulare hits one hit, he wins the fight. Like, completely.
So Adulare does a better job against the boss, and Exploding Dijin does a better job against Adulare.
Yes. The only thing is that does Exploding Dijin beat Adulare before Adulare beats the boss?
It's not a matter of speed. Like, yes, speed does also play in a factor of it, so let's see.
Yeah.
Adulare completely disables him. Skeleton's gone, swinging his sword recklessly. He might fall down the cliff, if anything. His mind and spirit are still there. He loses the ability to control the skeletons. He is down and out of the game. Exploding Dijin can damage him a lot, do a bunch of damage, a bunch of good stuff. But he is able to still be in there. Thanks to Lich King being a heavy defense hero.
Not to mention the fact that, like, yes, I have armor, but if I really need to, an emergency mechanic that I have is just, I can just take off the armor and then plop a skeleton right there. I have all the components.
Not to mention, Lich King skeletons aren't any joke either. They can tank stuff. God, who are you giving this to?
I would want to give it to Adulare, but I think it's just the fact that Exploding Dijin messes around with Adulare too much.
Because can't block it.
Has to tank it.
Oh god, this is why we need 3 judges.
Yeah.
So we can settle tiebreakers like this. Who are you giving it to?
Like I said, I think I have to give it to Exploding Dijin.
You're right. In the most case scenarios, Adulare would take Lich King out easily and Exploding Dijin wouldn't. But it's mainly the fact of, in more cases than not, Exploding Dijin will mess with Adulare. He'll lose the crystal.
Not to mention, we have to think of the test. You said it's a damage and durability test, not take out the boss and you win.
Yeah, it's how well you do in the situation.
And, like, yes, Adulare does very good damage. He can even beat the boss, but he fails completely in the durability test thanks to Exploding Dijin.
Alright, I think we got an answer.
Okay. Let's go back.
I'm honestly like way bigger fan of fencing. But
I actually do jiu-jitsu, so
swordplay is so cool.
Oh, I always wanted to get into that.
Sometimes I both hate and relish the creation of firearms because it removed the whole honorable sport of dueling, but it also just fixed wars, kind of.
Also, Andrew Jackson was funny when he was a duel.
He was pretty great. Oh, the judges are back also.
Yeah, we're back. All right.
Fencing's cool.
Yeah. So, I'll announce this one. This actually came up to a very close match. And both people were able to deal with the boss so well, it took us forever to figure it out. It came down to one detail why we threw this, because more times than not, they'd win maybe 49% and the winner would win maybe 51% of the time. Really close.
I was talking with Exploding saying this is like the most toss-up match I've seen. It could have been a coin flip.
Yep, it's
Honestly,
like right there. And if you look at it a certain way, then the other person would win. It's just a matter of the stuff. So, we are going to give this match to this person because the main thing they had going for them was interference. And so because of that, we give this match to Exploding Dijin.
woo!
Yeah.
It's mainly due to the fact that it's mainly due to the fact that Adulare can take out the boss instantly. Exploding Dijin can take out the boss, but he's still in there and he can still fight. And one of Dijin's moves, the landslide, is gonna hurt him. Even though he just doesn't have to do that.
Also, they're taking out the side of it, like, to where it would go the other way. Like, I mean, my other strategy would also mess with him as well.
Well, you can't really mess with the boss completely because they're bosses.
I think it was talking about me.
Oh, but like this is what we were saying. Adulare, in terms of taking out the boss, Adulare wins. Which is why it's such a toss-up match. But it's more than just damage against the boss. It's more of how well you do in the situation.
I'd say if you were to say like originally in terms of 100, if you were to do this 100 times fight over and over again, if it was one-on-one, I'd probably beat him out. But due to his interference with landslide and just his ability as a whole, how he can stay back while I have to go in, he'd probably win more.
And so to finish up, like we said, Adulare takes out the boss better. Exploding Dijin does not. It's just Adulare cannot deal with Exploding Dijin's interference. It's just not a thing it can do. And especially since Adulare can only mess with one person at a time, if Adulare could mess with two people, he wins. But because he can't handle the interference, Exploding Dijin takes it.
Sweet.
Now, Adulare, you did lose, meaning you are able to challenge him to a combat match. You versus him.
Could I ask a quick question about his ability before I decide that then?
Yeah.
His exploding things that like whatever he shoots out, they have a mind of their own, right? But you wouldn't consider them alive, right? Like I wouldn't be able to affect them with my crystal.
Nope.
Okay. Because I was talking with him, if I could affect it, I could turn it into an illusion, making it so it could never come into contact with anything, thus never explode. So it'd just be a fist fight between me and him, as we both can't use our abilities.
So, are you going to challenge him to a combat?
I do not think so. Mainly because even if I were to attack him or land a hit, if he can still summon his explosion things and they can track on their own. If it was like Lich King where I could just take out his head and then he couldn't control anymore, then I'd be more willing to do it, but...
Alright then, we're gonna give...
I will gladly give away the the win to this, because that was very entertaining.
Very close. And so...
I'm okay with that. Also because this was like probably one of my worst matches. I imagine Adulare's ability is an extremely powerful duelist ability, but with interference of mainly Lich King having multiple things, but I don't affect them. But just having any more than one person kind of ruins the effect, since I can only attack one person at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky with this one, honestly.
You wouldn't imagine how lucky I got with my first one.
And so, you two did good job to both of you. We will award 2 points to Exploding Dijin. The winner will be announced in the server. And,
Both my matches are pretty close.
Alright. And so, any last words, Golden?
No, not really. You guys did a really good job on defeating Lich King. Couldn't have done a better job.
Really cool character.
And with this...
I like the name.
Yeah.
And with this, we will end the match. Good job, both of you. I will update the standings and the match history. Good job.
Am I able to ask a question about the tournament itself while I have you here?
Yes.
Are we able to see what like the full scope of the objectives we could get?
I'd say at the end.
Okay. Because I was talking with Exploding and saying it'd be a really cool. I don't know if it's in already or not, but it would be really cool to have more of a cooperative mode if you didn't have 5 people. If you were, it was basically a 2v2 to demonstrate more of a cooperative or supportive ability or
I did
your
think
own power.
there are supportive objectives in there.
Sweet.
Because I mean, I feel like Adulare's ability in particular could really shine if he's not on his own.
I feel like I could work well with you or Juggernaut. Like there's like a lot of people I can work really well with.
However, the one problem, I did think of this was a thought. The one problem with it was that to do that, you need to get 4 people to agree on a time.
Yeah, and that sounds really difficult.
And that leaves out a 5th person. So.
I honestly did not expect to get a match today, like so quickly, after you just saying, or putting everyone in the group.
I was a little worried, but I was glad I was able to make it.
Alright.
Alright, so, good job to both of you. Any last words, Golden?
No, just they did very well on the match.
Alright, good job.
GG's.
Me and Golden are going to move up into General. And, yeah, have fun. Good match.
Peace.
Yeah.
So, how was that fight, though?
It was actually really good. I'm just glad I didn't get like harm assist or something.
Yeah, like any of the worst guys. How funny would it be?
Yeah.
How funny would it be if all 3 of these matches, this round's matches, got all stars?
I would love that.
Because yeah, our heroes, they have gear, they have better stats, they're strong powers because they were on our team, and jeez.
I'm actually really glad they got Lich King. Lich King is like the most balanced person we got on that roster.
If they went up against Chaos, Adulare would have been a hard counter because he needs to hear. If they went up against Glitcher, they're both dead. If they went up against Fate, they're both dead.
Harm assist, it's an instant win.
And cover.
Oh. Hey, covered would live the landslide,
Well,
right?
no.
No.
Man-made objects.
Oh.
But this fight,
Aw.
I thought Adulare was just gonna get swiped. And then it was the fact of his crystals blend in with the terrain and don't affect the skeletons. Those two details went, oh! And so those just flipped the whole thing for me. Jeez. Let me see. As I update the rankings, gotta move the mouse and it's...
Wild card would have just been like,
Bye.
oh, you're here? There was so many opportunities.
So, taking a look at the new standings, this puts Exploding Dijin in the lead with 3 points. Adulare and Juggernaut are still in second place with 2. Pale Rider and Cobra are in third place with 0.
Man, that sucks.
Well, they've only had 1 match.
Oh,
And so, with this win, Exploding Dijin takes the lead.
might put up a fair contender against Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. Adulare and Juggernaut are right on his heels. The only problem is Juggernaut's already burned through 2 of his matches. And so has Exploding Dijin. But with those points, Exploding Dijin managed to get 3 points in Juggernaut too. Adulare is on the same footing as Dijin. They've both only gone through. They've both only gone through 2 matches. So we'll see. We'll see. This is going to be close. Anything you want to say?
No, they couldn't. Other than like they couldn't have gotten a better matchup. They did really well. Exploding Dijin's doing great. I'd even combat Juggernaut. Or who knows? Maybe someone just might be sleeping and then like just uppercut everyone and just zoom to the top.
I think that might be Pale Rider. Pale Rider might get a guaranteed combat victory each time.
His I mean, the way he fights is like it's extremely good. So much damage instantly.
And so,
Wait, right? He has instant damage.
And disintegration
Mm-hmm.
at the same time.
So meaning not only does he deal like poison damage in a sense, but he also does like, you know, instant damage, which is like a lot of damage.
A lot. And so, just this is gonna be good. This is good. Like these heroes continue to surprise me in many different ways.
Mm-hmm. Because you get similar ones, but you never get the same one.
All right. With that, I think that about wraps up our after talk.
Yeah.
Good job, both of them. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with the monkey in the background, goodbye.
Wait.
What?
Even though that like Fate is like almost an instant win, we always sleep on Chadwick.
Yeah, Chadwick too. A lot of your team is strong.
No, I'd say the weakest one, without counting supports, is Lich King.
Mm-hmm. That's because he was
But
all
not
defense.
to mention, it's also like Glitcher and just,
Yeah, I had the strongest hero. You had the best well-rounded team, and the other
Yes.
two were like just geez, a lot. All right.
I mean, I feel like Fate could kill Lich King.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, yeah,
Lich
yeah,
King.
yeah. And with that, that's it. See you in the next round.
Yeah. When do you think the next one will start?
No idea. The others haven't talked yet.
Oh really? Okay.